We should probably get going.
Yeah, you know what? It's 1:03. I'm going to get started. Thank you all for joining us today for our national elections virtual information session. And you all have the luxury of seeing this great PowerPoint presentation I've put together. So thank you for taking the time because I've taken the time to do all that work. Okay, I have a little agenda for today. We're not going to take too long. We're going to make this very efficient and we're going to open this up to any Q&As. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Our agenda for today will include, sorry, Christine, I can't manage that. You have to, if you can do that for me. Sorry, I don't have that sharing ability.
Welcome.
Yes, so our agenda for today, it's not coming on my screen yet, but if I don't know if it's on everyone else's screen. The agenda for today will include our welcoming notes from me, an overview on the positions available on the board, some of the board benefits available to members that make it on the board, and then we open it up to Q&A. So for the first one, and I don't know why, Christine, I'm just looking because it's not shifting. Is it shifting for everyone else? Are you seeing the next slides or not yet? No, Christine, so you need to, can you go to the third slide now, the welcome?
It's positions.
No, welcome.
Just on the welcome.
Oh, does everyone else see it?
Oh.
No, because I don't, for some reason on mine, Christine, it still shows the title slide.
I don't know why it's doing that. I'm sorry. It's saying it's paused. Well, I'm not much help.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's make sure that we can get this working.
Can you see it now?
Yes, now we're cooking with fire. We're good
Sorry
now.
about that.
No, that's all good. All good. Okay, perfect. So, all right, some overview notes. We appreciate all of your interest. Any active current member of TMAC can run for the board. Anybody can. It's open to everyone and anyone. And I like to let people know this is the most important parts that I really want to go over. You know, when I first joined TMAC, there was always thoughts about, you know, what do I need to do? How much of my time is it going to take? And these are the main things I really want to go over up front. So things to consider and be aware of. When you sit on the board, the good news is you sit on a board of 10 to 12 members, but everyone has their own responsibility. And that means we're all going to be divvied up into different committees and positions, which I will get to in the next slide. And the idea is that we work individually, but we also work as a unit, as a team, as any board should, because we're not a board of one, we're a board of 12. And we like to share things, we CC people, we bounce ideas off of each other. So you should never feel that you're going to be alone. And you should also not feel that you're going to have any quotas to hit. Now, I'm going to use that term loosely because when it comes to, for example, sponsorship, where it involves raising money, a lot of people get scared about that because they think, well, how much money do I have to raise? That's a lot of money. We don't have a set quota every year. The more we get, the merrier. The less we get, it's understanding because we're volunteers. At the end of the day, we're volunteers. We're not getting paid for this. So we're using the most valuable asset that we can give to this board is our time. So in terms of responsibilities, yes, there's some things you will need to keep in mind in terms of we have monthly meetings. You will need to attend those monthly meetings. You'll have subcommittee meetings that you're a part of that you'll need to join regularly. And again, those could be modeled around your time. Our monthly meetings as a national board are usually set on a Wednesday around 1 p.m. Eastern or 12 noon Eastern rather. And the idea is, again, if you can make it or can't, that's up for discussion. And we're going to be setting, I guess, whether it's the same time or a new time, that's something we're going to set in the summer months up ahead. So there's a responsibility on your end to make sure you can come in with TMAC and know that we're going to be relying on you to help us out, to help steer the ship forward, so to speak. But again, you're not going to be alone on this. We're all going to be together on this and we're all going to be able to share as well. Next is commitment. I touched on this a little bit before about the time commitments for meetings. It's making sure you're also available. I know we're all checking email regularly now. It's a fact of life now almost. And the idea is you just have to make sure that if there's any board questions or needs for approval, we have to be available to at least say yes, no, just be quickly available. So you just have to know that your commitment for this, it's a 2-year term, is a big thing to keep in mind as well. This is not a 6-month thing or a 3-month thing. So we need you to know that if you're going to be in this, you should know that it's for 2 years straight. After the year, if you choose to, if you really, something comes up personal or there's some exceptions to your job that you can't do it, we completely understand. But we want to make sure that we let people know up front that it's important for you to understand that time commitment of 2 years for serving on this board. After that time, you could choose to continue running because you have up to 2 terms, two 2-year terms before you have to jump off and take a break. Say that 5 times fast. So that's a few things I want you all to be aware of and to consider if you are throwing your name in the hat, so to speak, for nominations. The next big thing is addressing concerns up front, because I get this a lot. A lot of members will come up to me and they tell me that they would love to sit on the board, but they're concerned about a few things. And I like to use my time. What if I don't do a good job? These are the questions that come up. And when I first was approached to sit on national, I sat as a director on large, and I had the same concerns because I'm traveling. I'm traveling right now. We're always traveling. We're busy with reports, family, personal lives. We have a lot of things on the go. But I found myself wanting to be challenged in a way to learn more. And I ended up taking on some of the hardest responsibilities out there. There's a number of them, but one of them being sponsorship and future host, because it's a lot of stress on that, much like other like conference and other committees, awards committees as well. There's a number of committees that require a lot of time and commitment to it. And I just found that I enjoyed it. And when you're working with other people as well, and you're all working as a unit, it helps things go by faster. You're able to get it done quicker, and it feels good. And soon enough, I, took on more committees, and now I'm the vice president, and soon I'll be the incoming president. Now, I don't expect anyone to be like that. I don't expect anyone to jump on multiple committees or to strive to be the president. No, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. At this point, we should all be looking to dip our toes in the water to make sure that we're comfortable with this within 2 years and to see how we want to progress after that. So just know that you're not going to be alone in doing this. You can do it. Anyone can do it. And we've had a long list of members that have served us in the past that have, they've had trying times, but they've had good times as well. So I really, this welcome overview was really meant to sort of lay the groundwork, but also not to sugarcoat anything. Because as I said, key highlights from this is that you need to know it's a 2-year commitment. You're going to have monthly meetings that you'll need to sit on and join. They're not going to be long, but the idea is we'll have at least one a month. Things will come up where we need to make an approval by the board. We'll need all your help with that to say yay or nay. And those will come in via email. And you can always call us if there's any questions or concerns. So we're going to have a Q&A at the end, and I'm happy to answer more on that. But Christine, if we can go to the next slide, please, I will talk about the different positions. So I mentioned there's a number of positions available, which will be assigned once you join the board. Just to note, once everyone's basically locked in, I, as president, will be making calls with everyone to find out which committee you'd like to be in. And it's great if all of you want to start thinking about committees that you'd like to sit in. I think that's great. It's a great starting point. We could have a discussion and see where everyone lands, because obviously if 5-6 people want the same committee, then we're going to have to spread that out. But so far it's looking good. And this is just a number of them. These are the main ones: awards, conference, communications, finance, future host, governance, human resources, membership, PD, professional development, sponsorship. And there's also subcommittees that come up that are assigned by the board, whether it's a new website or a new something we need to look into. There'll be separate subcommittees that are set up for that we can all serve. And remember, you're not going to be the only one on this. You could have someone as part of your committee. Something like awards or conference will need that added extra support, so you could have that secondary person. Because in a way, if you end up moving off a year to do something else, it trains that next person in case they want to take over as the main chair of that committee. Now, I do want to stress that there is one position that you can actually ask for when you're applying, when you want to be nominated. That is vice president. You can basically come in and say that you want to run for vice president. That's based on the knowledge that after 2 years, you will serve as president of TMAC for 2 years after that. So just keep that in mind as well. And there's going to be a link at the end that we have for you to see a lot of this information on the website as you're thinking about it, okay? Next slide, please, Christine. Board benefits. So this is the good stuff I like to talk about. Serving on the board doesn't come without some benefits, at least, right? The main one I'm going to go over is membership dues. Your membership dues are waived if you're sitting on the board and if you're active on the board as well. Conference registration fees are waived. This is great. You get your conference fees waived. You have your accommodations and travel expenses. They will be reimbursed as well for the conference. Now, mind you, it's subject to board approval. We like to share those in advance because obviously we're not flying first class. We're not for profit. And, you know, the host hotel will be our hotel that we stay at. Now, the key thing to keep in mind is that as a board member, it's stated in our bylaws that you have to attend the conference. Now, obviously, if you can't for personal reasons or business reasons, we understand that. And that's something you could approach us in advance because we always know the date a year in advance, roughly. So you could come up to us and talk about that if that comes up. Another benefit I like to say is you get to raise your profile within TMAC. Nothing says, you know, standing out like sitting on the board and having your name there visible for different committees and answering questions for anybody that needs more assistance. And finally, for media members only, those that sit on the board will receive 7 to 10 volunteer points per year, which goes towards requalification. And it also depends on the role you sit on. That will be where the 7 to 10 fluctuates. But as a bonus for media, hey, you'll already have key points that you have towards your requalification. Let's go to the next slide, Christine, please. And this will be our, wait for it. Okay, hold on. There we go. Christine, do you have it? There we go. Thank you. In summary, key thing is learn new skills through committees. You will get director benefits from serving on the board. You get to raise your profile within TMAC. The key thing is that you're going to be helping shape TMAC's future. Because I always tell members, if you want to help TMAC, the best way to do that is sit on the board and help us steer the ship. And you also get to work with a great group of members. Now, I also want to add on to this. It's important that you note that there's that time commitment that I touched on. It's a 2-year commitment. There's monthly meetings, but we're not expecting you to work 10 to 20 hours a week or anything like that. Depending on the committee, yes, there's going to be time where you're needed more on these things, but I want you all to be aware of that up front. And our closing slide, Q&A. This is where I open up to all of you. If you have any questions, you can also email me after, and there is a link here that we have where you can review the call for nominations and all the details I've given you further. So I'm going to open the floor up to anyone now if there are any questions.
I'll mention that there is a newsletter going out tomorrow with that's when the nominations open with all this information.
So, Mr. Grimmick, it's Pops here. Does that mean we have to put up with you?
Listen, Pops, you've been dealing with me your whole life, so I don't know what 2 more years is, how bad that can be, right?
Well, never know till you try.
You're a good man. Do you remember when we sat on the Ontario board together? We had good times. We had good times.
We did. We shall continue to have good times, I'm sure.
I love that. Thank you, Ron. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Any more comments or?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
When you say you have to attend the conference, so if someone here is elected, does that mean they must attend the conference in Saskatoon, or is it the next year's conference?
Great question. This is next year's conference.
Okay. And with the nominations, I mean, if we're here, we're probably interested. Can we just nominate ourselves, or do we have to go through and have someone nominate us?
My understanding is, just to keep it clean, you have someone else nominate you.
Okay. Thanks.
But Jody, you have a lot of people. I'll nominate you. There's a lot of people. Any other questions? Kevin, anything about any questions? Susie, anybody?
I'm sure I'm going to have something. I just can't think of it right now.
That's okay. I'm always available, buddy, if you want to reach out.
But
No,
Jody, you
I
got my
really
vote.
enjoyed this call, but I guess I was a little bit over ambitious in trying to reach my friends in Canada, because I didn't realize that this was about running for the board, which I love you guys, but no, not interested in. But it's great information to have, and I get to connect with some of my friends in Canada.
Love that. Love that. Thank you, Susie. Thank you and no thank you. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're not running, but thank you for joining and telling us how great this was. I love that.
You can
I'm
always
a bit
call
where
me
Susie.
Susie.
I'm where Susie is as well. I'm already on the board of another one, and I don't think that for now I can make the time, but it's certainly good information to keep and to know exactly what is involved in for you guys. What you're going through. And Jody, if you need someone to nominate you, I'll be happy to help.
I second that.
There we go.
How many spots are open, Jerry?
That's a great question. We're still trying to tally that up, but I can tell you right now that it's looking to be possibly 3 to 5 in that range.
Okay.
Okay. But again, we still have a little bit of time. We're trying to confirm with our current board who's staying, who's going, what's happening. But the idea is, listen, it doesn't have to be 12. We've had 10, we've had 11, we've had 9 before. It's going to fluctuate like that, but it's a good opportunity.
Jody counts as 3 people anyways.
There we go. So that means you're going to sit on 3 committees, Jody. Can I tie you in for that? I'll lock you in. One it is, and that's okay. That's all we expect at this time. No rush, no rush. Any other questions? Okay. Well, listen, there is that link. My email's here. Most of you have my email anyways. I've been in touch with some of you already many times. I'm happy to answer any further questions one-on-one. As I said, I already have 3 other people that have emailed me. They wanted to talk to me separately. So I just want to say thank you for all your time. I really appreciate this. Thank you for all your support. And we hope to see you on the board for next year. Those that want
Thank you, Mr. Gremick. You've been awesome. As always. Even if you say so yourself.
I love you, Pops. You're the best.
Take care.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jerry.
it, guys.
Bye,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Everyone.
Everyone. Merci beaucoup. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy. You want to stop the recording? Let's see if William stopped. Okay, William stopped. Okay, so it's just you and I, right?
Yep.
Thank you. What did you think, Christine?
Yeah, I mean, you